All right, so I'm going to do some semi-regular programming, which is difficult. I feel like creating content often, I take my hat off to people because it is an actual grind. It's a full-time job nearly. And I'm teaching here at the gym and doing all the things that you need to do to run the business. So anyway, enough whinging. I'm going to try and put out some more content. And I'm going to talk about just jiu-jitsu stuff that's going on in the game. And today's topic is going to be this idea that we're seeing of a real sort of Y in the road between the top players that are trying to play top position, maybe wrestle, pass the guard, and then get to work, versus the bottom players, which are playing a very specific often supine guard play, and then trying to get into, more often than not, leg attacks. Now, let me preface this with, I'm not really trying to throw shade or favour one direction over the other, I suppose. I'm going to sort of say my ideas, and really it's up to you. Whichever one you want to do is totally fine. But from me, as a coach's perspective, and someone who's trying to make a winning team, you've got to sort of think, well, how are the governing bodies, or the people that are running tournaments that you want to win, how is it that they're looking at each area of the game? Are they favouring bottom men? Are they favouring top men? And I would say, if we talk about ADCC, which is our main focus, or my main focus as a coach, the ADCC has always sort of favoured the top man. It's always favoured, take him down, get on top, pass the guard, survive any attacks, but you positionally dominate well, and you're probably going to win your match. And then we've seen matches, let's say what pops into mind is Cade Ruotolo versus Levi. All right, they ended up going with Cade in that match, and he was the top man passing the guard player. But then more recently, we've seen more maybe of a bit of a switch. We've seen, let's say, young Pavel, the Polish kid who's a supine guard player. He's been winning matches via supine guard play. Now, let me preface this. If you get a submission, top or bottom, it doesn't matter. So let's just disregard that for this topic of conversation. What I'm referring to is if the match goes the distance, and we have to look at the match as a judge's sort of perspective and choose who won, that's what I'm thinking about right now. And it feels to me a little bit like the onus is on the top man to really probably outperform the bottom man. There seems to be a little bit more leeway on the bottom man where, and I'm talking generally now, where he can lay supine and play. Obviously, he's going to stop the other man passing, so he's going to throw his legs up and do guard retention. And then if he can get a scoop and go K-guard and go backside, the guy has to sit, limp for his knee line, and then we go back into that sort of pattern. We see that a lot at the moment. That, in the eyes of a lot of judges now, favours the bottom man. So the bottom man can play defensive. Really, he can't do anything unless the man on top comes to him. Okay, so if I lay supine and lay flat and the man on top comes over and starts to pass my guard, he had to come to me to actually make that happen. That's the first thing. So if you're playing a game of guard play where you attack the top man, you're in a seated position. Let's use an example, Gordon versus Cyborg at the IBJJF Worlds in 2018, I think it was. If you watch that match, and Cyborg actually ended up getting disqualified for slapping Gordon around the face the entire match. But if you watch that, Gordon attacked him from bottom position. So I think we need to have a look and go, we should at least make the bottom man have to engage, right? The bottom man being able to go into his supine position and just wait for the top man to engage him. I think if that is the case, you should be allowed to, right? You definitely should be allowed to, but that should punish you because you're not taking the fight to anyone. You're effectively being like a landmine. You're only useful if someone steps on you. So that's something, and again, I'm not even arguing for one way or the other right now. It's funny because I started out doing jiu-jitsu really favouring being a guard playing leg lock sort of character. And then as time goes on, you shift and you sort of shift for multiple reasons, but also I just try to shift with what's going to win matches. And nowadays, maybe if you ask me hand on heart, my preference is probably, take them down, put them on their back, dominate them positionally, and win the match. That's what But then we're seeing matches where guys can lay around supine, throw out their legs. And here's the thing, if you get good at that game, and we've seen, I mean, there's a list of people. You can go Levi Jones, you can go Lucas Cannard, you can go, I mean, I seem to be naming Australians right now, but let's go Pavel, Meow, the Meow brothers. Like, there's a list of people who can play that game, and it's very difficult to pass them. So this idea of, we'll just pass their guard. Okay, well, it's not that easy. If you've done jiu-jitsu and you've gone against someone who's very good, it's not that easy to just pass the guard. So we've got to look now and go, well, who's the onus on here? That if the top man's trying to, and what does trying to pass the guard look like? Well, that's a good question also. But I would like to think that if you've got an educated eye, you can see the difference between somebody playing, say, a very negative, disengaging game on top where they're kind of pulling out, or when they're coming into the guard and trying to pass it. Hopefully people can see that. But I'm kind of torn, right? I'm kind of torn because you've got these guys who are very good defensively, and so you're not going to just see a pass. It's not going to just happen. And when you do see it, it's phenomenal. It's crazy to see. Mikey Musumeci is another guard who's very difficult. Mikey pretty much only exclusively plays guard position, and yeah. So I suppose when I'm talking to you guys, I'm not even presenting you with an answer. I'm kind of just presenting an idea and a problem. I'm interested to hear what you've got to say. If you want to make any comments down in the comment section, because it'll dictate the direction of your average jiu-jitsu player, the way that tournaments allow the players to act and win. So if your path to victory is to play supine guard and win with guard retention / some entries, you're going to see a lot more of that. If the path to victory is get on top and win by positional dominance and passing, and when I say passing, you might not pass, but the act of passing, people will do that. And I suppose I'm also bringing up something that's probably been around since the beginning of competitive jiu-jitsu. This is not something new, but it's something we're really seeing more, particularly as we see the outside guard play, the De La Riva, the K-guard, and that type of guard. It can be very difficult to pass if they want to play a good game there. In another video, I'm going to talk about what method I think works well, or what method I think we need to lean towards to pass guards like that. I don't know if any method works well. We've seen if you're a very good guy at retaining guard, sometimes the matches are just not long enough. You would need an unlimited time limit to just wear the guy down. And that's what we see with Gordon, right? We see that he likes these no limit time matches because no time limit matches because there is no rush. There's not a 5 minute, quickly get through the guard. That's not an issue. It's just, I'll just keep wearing this guy down. And the bottom player eventually does become exhausted. So many things to think about here. I'm interested to see where we go, because we're seeing it pop up more and more, where I'm starting to see the supine guard player get decisions over the man taking initiative on top. And I still think to stay on top, Kenta Iwamoto put up a post just recently about this, and it was quite well written. Check out his Instagram, I think he put it on, and he made reference to this, and it's funny because I've been thinking about it as well. And yeah, he said there's a lot of effort to maintaining, to get on top and stay on top. And remember, Kenta was a leg locking guard player when he first started, and he's probably transitioned to more of a wrestler top player nowadays. You wouldn't even recognize him as a guard player now, because he's put in the effort. And I think he probably also realizes there is a lot to become a good judoka or wrestler, so you can now dictate where the match goes. And then you have to be able to stay out of all the problematic things a guard player presents you. And then you've got to be able to pass multitudes of guards. Then you've got to be able to hold them down. There's a definite skill to top position. It's not just sitting around on top. And also, obviously, the other side of that coin is, sure, guard play is very difficult. If you're enjoying my content and you want to see more, I've got Sydney West Online. It's got over 60 hours of content, classes, Q&A, rolling rounds. Jump on there now and check it out. Done both. I do both. I teach both. So I get it. But I think in a high level match, we need to have maybe a clearer understanding of what we're going to give credit to. So do we give credit to the man on top who can keep top position and put pressure on the bottom man, or do we give the focus to the bottom man who can stop the guard pass and then maybe get an entry, even if it doesn't lead to something? Does that give him the win? I don't know. And this is what I'm kind of just talking aloud and thinking aloud here. I don't know where we go with that. I'm very interested to see what you guys think, and maybe I'll sit down and talk with some different. I can sit down and talk with some top players and sit down and talk with some bottom players. We've got plenty of those in Australia, and maybe we can come up with some more information here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to try and put out some more little just ramblings of me thinking about jiu-jitsu. If you enjoy it, let me know, and I'll see you soon.